Hey guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're all having an amazing day. Welcome to another FPL video. It's been a while since I made one of these videos, so a couple of weeks passed, and for GW19 obviously I didn't make a video because I was away from home, but here I am now, and we have GW20 coming up in a couple of days, and we have lots of things to talk about for that game week. But just before we do that, let's just quickly look at where my team is at the moment. So in game week 19, I currently have 53 points, and I also have 3 more players left playing. So Kepa, Pereira and Havertz still need to play one more game. And I went with Salah captain in this game week as a differential captain against Brentford away. I didn't really fancy Haaland against Chelsea, and I decided that I'm not going to captain him. And since all the double gameweeks players I had in my team, I didn't really like how they looked for the captaincy. I didn't really see many points in them, so I did end up going with Salah against Brentford, hoping that he's going to continue his away form. So as you can see, he has scored a lots of points away from home recently, but it didn't work out in that game, mostly because his teammate is Darwin Núñez, to be honest, and Núñez is awful as it seems. So Salah blanked it in that game week, unfortunately, but the team is still doing good. I have 53 points. The overall rank at the moment is 83k. I started the game week at 75k overall, so it's a small red arrow, but hopefully with the 3 more players left, I will end this game week in another green arrow. Now let's move to game week 20, and there is lots of things to talk about in game week 20. So yesterday there were 2 double game weeks announced. So firstly, the Man City versus Tottenham double game week was confirmed because Man City and Tottenham both won their games in the FA Cup. But also Man United got a double game week as well, and it's going to be against Man City and Crystal Palace. So we have 4 teams in this game week with double game weeks: Man City, Spurs, Man United and Crystal Palace. And I currently have 2 free transfers, and so that leaves me with a lot of options. I'm not sure how many transfers will I make, but it could be 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 transfers for this game week. There are a lot of options, and yeah, let's start going through those options. So let's go into the transfers window. So as you can see, I have two free transfers and 1.2 million in the bank. So there are a couple of players here that I'm looking to transfer out. Trossard is definitely one of those players, so he's not injured. I don't know why he's yellow flagged. He's basically been dropped from the team, so the new coach doesn't like him. He said that he likes players that give out 100% in training and in games, and Trossard is not one of those players. So he's most likely going to leave Brighton probably, or at least I don't expect him to play that many minutes this season. So he's one player that's going to be out of my team. I would also like to transfer out one of the 2 Liverpool players, maybe even both, I'm not sure. So Salah and Darwin Núñez, definitely not worth owning both of them. Probably the smartest thing is to just remove them both. So those 2 players I'm looking to remove. Also Havertz, another player that's going to leave my team. Chelsea are not very creative going forward. They barely create any chances, and sorry, so that's another player that I would like to remove from my team. And then the last player would be Laporte. He's been a huge mistake for me. It's almost like I have Cancelo pretty much. I should not have had him in my team, but that was a mistake and I need to fix it as soon as possible. So these are the potential players that I'm considering transferring out. Now let's look at some of the options for GW20. So let's go through the double GW teams. Let's start with Spurs because that's the easiest team. So with Spurs it's very simple. When it comes to attackers, it's pretty much Kane or nobody. Kane is the only player consistently returning this season for Spurs. He's probably having the best season of his career, which is actually crazy because Spurs seem to be struggling every game I watch them. So he's constantly getting goals pretty much every game, and he had a huge haul against Palace away, 16 points. He has in the past he has scored lots of goals against Arsenal in the derby, and Spurs usually do very good against Man City as well. So he's definitely a player I'm looking to bring in for this double game week and beyond. Then when it comes to the defenders, maybe Doherty is worth taking a look. So since the break he's been also very good. So he scored a goal against Palace as well. So he almost matched Kane with his points. So he's another player to consider. Now the question is how many clean sheets is Spurs going to get in the next couple of game weeks. So in game week 20, Arsenal and Man City, those are pretty much the two hardest fixtures to have for this season. Then they play in 22, they play City again. So that is the problem right now for Spurs defenders, but it's definitely something to consider. Now let's move to Man City. So for Man City, I currently only have Haaland in my team. I am not going to consider Laporte as an option because, like I said, I don't think he will get that many minutes as it stands. He is probably the fourth choice center back for Pep at the moment, behind Stones, Ake and Akanji. So I'm looking to transfer him out now. Like I said, I only have Haaland, so I definitely need at least one more Man City player in the team. Now if we look at the midfielders, it's very hard to choose which player to go for, mostly because they are pretty much all of them are rotation risks, except De Bruyne, who unfortunately seems to be out of form. He hasn't had any returns since the World Cup, so 3 game weeks, 3 blanks for him. Plus he's very expensive as well. Now Foden, once again, Foden is a rotation risk, so it basically every game week it's either Foden or Grealish, but it's never going to be clear which one of those two is going to start, I believe. Now the player I'm currently looking at from Man City midfield is Riyad Mahrez. He seems to be the player in form after the World Cup, so he scored against the winner against Chelsea. He got assists in the 2 games before. Also, he was the best Man City player in the Chelsea game in the FA Cup last night. He scored an amazing free kick goal, and also I believe he scored a penalty as well. So he's definitely in form, and he's definitely a player I'm looking at bringing from Man City. Now, the Pep roulette is always possible. You never really know with Pep what you're gonna get, but he's definitely an option for me. Now, when I look at the defenders, there is really not a clear player to go for right now. They are all pretty much at the same boat, the same place. They are all rotation risks. Maybe one of Ake or Akanji is the safest one to go for. I'm not sure. And if we look at Man United, I currently have 2 Man United players. Definitely the 2 best players to own from Man United, Shaw and Rashford. I'm very happy with them, but I'm possibly looking at bringing a 3rd player. Now, Martial, I'm gonna say it straight away. I don't like Martial. I don't like the form he's in. I don't like his fitness levels, so I'm not really looking at Martial. Looking at the midfielders, Bruno Fernandes could be good, but his position in the team this season is slightly different. He's not that important to Man United, it seems like. Plus, he might not be on penalties anymore, because Rashford got to shoot the Man United penalty in the FA Cup against Everton. So maybe Rashford will be the penalty taker from now. But Fernandes is still a good option to consider. And another player that I'm looking at is Christian Eriksen. He actually has more points than Bruno Fernandes this season, so he is slightly more creative. He gets involved in the games slightly more. He has 6 assists so far. The problem with him is he tends to be the first player to be subbed off in the games, so around the 60th, 70th minute. But I'm looking at him. And for the defenders, I already have Shaw, but I'm considering going for Dalot as well as a double up in the Man United defense. I really like the way their defense looks. I think there are a lot of clean sheets to be had there, and they will probably have another double game week in 22 as it stands, so against Crystal Palace and Leeds. So 2 double game weeks in game week 20 and 22. So Dalot is a strong consideration for me right now, but it's going to come down to, so Man City and Man United both have one more game coming up in the other cup, not the FA Cup but the League Cup or whatever it's called. So they are going to be played tomorrow, I believe, either Tuesday or Wednesday. So those games are going to be important. I'm looking forward to seeing how these teams will line up, and after those games I will start deciding on which players to get for game week 20. So yeah, that's all for today. Like I said, I will wait for these 2 games to be played, and then after those games are finished, I will have some more concrete and precise transfer options, and I will update you guys as soon as that happens. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. It's good to be back after a short break, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of game weeks. They should be very fun. So see you in the next video. Peace.